This is a video on how to make Christmas cards using recycled Christmas cards, so ones that have not been used. I am going to be creating winter wonderland scenes on these Christmas cards based on photographs that I took a couple of years ago in my local park. I deliberately use a strong bright colour because I like to layer up my paints and have different colours shining through one another. So what I'm doing just now is I'm getting rid of the white background and I'm adding a really strong bright colour. So I've started off using a marker pen and I am just marking out the horizon line on each of the images on each card. This is when acrylic paint is really versatile because you can pretty much put any medium on top of it and it will accept it and it won't resist the medium. So I'm using this felt tip pen rather than a pencil. I find sometimes, especially with a lead pencil, that what happens is the silveriness of the lead pencil will shine through the paint. I'm now going to take some other colours and I'm going to block in some of the snow on each of the cards. So I've got quite a broad brush and I'm just quickly taking the broad brush and getting rid of some of my initial colour, that sort of purple colour background that I've got there, and I'm starting to work from dark to light. I also like to use a bit of fabric or towel so that I can rub into the paint surface, just creating different textures. I also like to change the size of the brush that I use, especially when I'm working on a smaller scale. So here you'll see that I've moved to a smaller brush, and that also helps to create different brush marks and different sizes of brush strokes over the surface of my paintings. Another technique that I like to use is PVA glue mixed in with paint. Now, depending on how much paint you add to your glue will depend on how transparent or not the paint becomes when you paint it onto your surface. So the reason I'm using the PVA glue here is because I want to create transparent layers so I can still see some of the colours that I've put on underneath, but by using the PVA glue it acts almost like a waterproof barrier, and rather than one colour sinking into the other colour, it creates a barrier so that you can still see the colour underneath, yet you've got a nice film of whichever colour you want to use on top. So I'm just using white for this, so a little bit of white on my paintbrush, and I'm using some PVA glue mixed in, and then I'm just going to scumble this over the top of my image. If you just add glue to your brush without the paint, you can then almost use it like a rubber. So you can see here I'm almost like rubbing out some of the paint and PVA that I'd originally put on, and I'm just knocking it back using just PVA glue on my brush to work back in and almost bring back through some of those colours that I'd originally gotten rid of. Don't be frightened to do this, it is a really good technique to use and you will get nice textures on your surface. I'm now just using a black felt tip pen that you would use in school just to bring in some detail to the trees in the background. I now have a selection of Prisma pencils. I've chosen hot and cold colours, so I'm using some blues to create shadows on the snow, and I've also used a little bit of lilac and burgundy in the trees just to create some depth of field in the winter wonderland scene. So throughout this process I've made sure that I've kept the underneath side of my cards nice and clean so that they don't get paint smudges on them. Now they're good to go into their envelopes.